The crisp sound of a perfect shot rang out through the elite shooters club, quickly followed by a resounding wave of applause. The patrons, draped in designer shooting gear, cheered as Blake Radcliffe, a five-time national champion and Olympic gold medalist, lowered his custom Remington rifle. His tan face split into a smug smile as he admired his latest bullseye. In his world, dominated by wealth, power, and talent, there was a clear barrier between the elite and everyone else. Blake, at 42, was at the height of his career. He had grown up with access to the best training money could buy, and it showed. His confidence oozed as he basked in the adoration of his peers, surrounded by people who only reinforced his sense of superiority. Little did he know, a quiet woman, unnoticed by the crowd, was about to change everything. Emma Miller, standing near the entrance, had a worn leather purse clutched tightly in her hands. Dressed simply in a blue cardigan and jeans from the department store, she stood out among the others like a dandelion in a rose garden. At 35, she wasn't young enough to turn heads or successful enough to command respect in this circle. She approached the receptionist, her voice soft as she requested to register for the open practice session. The receptionist, a young woman with immaculate blonde hair, quickly dismissed her, barely sparing her a glance. "Membership cards only," she replied, not even trying to hide her disinterest. Emma took a deep breath, then pulled out a crinkled envelope. "It's a day pass, a gift," she said. The receptionist's dismissive gaze shifted to the envelope, but she remained silent. Blake, noticing the newcomer, couldn't help but speak up. Well, he drawled loudly for everyone to hear. "Looks like someone took a wrong turn on the way to Walmart." His companions chuckled, drawing more attention to Emma, who kept her eyes fixed on the floor as she made her way to the basic range. Rebecca Johnson, the club's manager, and a former competitive shooter herself, frowned at Blake's comment but remained silent. Emma found a spot at the far end of the range and carefully placed her purse on the small shelf. She unwrapped a cloth package with practiced hands, revealing a standard Glock 19, far from the custom pieces the club's elite members used. Blake, noticing her choice of weapon, sauntered over with his friends in tow. "Excuse me, ma'am," he said, his politeness dripping with condescension. "Are you sure you're in the right place? This isn't a knitting circle." Emma lifted her gaze, her steady hazel eyes meeting his icy blue ones. "I'm just here to practice," she replied quietly. Blake's smile widened, not missing a beat. "Practice? This is for serious shooters. $10,000 says you can't hit the bullseye from 50 yards. Emma's expression didn't change. "I don't have that kind of money," she replied, her voice calm. Blake's grin grew. "If by some miracle you make the shot, I'll pay. If you miss, you leave. Deal?" Rebecca had approached during the exchange, concern evident on her face. "Mr. Radcliffe, perhaps we should let our guests practice in peace." Blake waved her off. "Stay out of this, Rebecca. We're just having a friendly wager." Emma's gaze dropped to her left hand, where a simple gold band encircled her ring finger. She twisted it gently, a gesture so small that only the most observant would have noticed. "All right," she said quietly. Blake's eyebrows shot up in surprise, but his face soon settled into a triumphant smirk. "Excellent! Ladies and gentlemen, we have ourselves a show." As Emma picked up the Glock, no one noticed the change in her posture. Her spine straightened, her shoulders relaxed, and her feet shifted into a perfectly balanced stance. No one recognized the expert grip or the controlled breathing pattern. The gold band on her finger, once belonging to SEAL Team 6's most legendary sniper, held a deep connection to Emma's past. 3 years ago, under a gray April sky at Arlington National Cemetery, Emma had stood holding Nathan's flag-draped coffin. Nathan, Master Chief Nathan Miller, had served his country for 15 years. His exceptional sniper skills earned him the nickname The Ghost. His death, officially attributed to a helicopter crash during a classified mission, had left Emma grieving in silence. She knew better. There were parts of his death that would remain classified forever. Nathan had taught Emma to shoot as a way to protect herself. What started as a safety measure evolved into a shared activity, one that brought them closer. Nathan had been a patient instructor, and Emma had discovered a natural gift for shooting. It wasn't aggression, it was about control. Her ability to remain calm under pressure had made her an unexpectedly gifted marksman. Their last shooting session had been just 2 days before Nathan's final mission. He had asked Emma to promise that she would continue practicing even when he wasn't there. After his death, Emma had locked away his guns, unable to visit a range. It wasn't until 3 years later, when a package arrived from Michael Reeves, Nathan's friend and fellow SEAL, that Emma was pushed back into the world of shooting. The package included a day pass to the Elite Shooters Club, along with a note: "Nathan would want you to keep your promise." Present day. As Emma stood in the club, the challenge from Blake hanging in the air, she felt something stir within her, a spark of the person she had been before grief hollowed her out. She lifted the Glock and muscle memory took over. She took a deep breath, held it, and slowly exhaled before squeezing the trigger. The shot rang out, crisp and clean. The target moved slowly towards them, and when it arrived, there it was, dead center of the bullseye. The silence that followed was profound. Blake snatched the target, inspecting it closely. "Beginner's luck," he scoffed, his voice tight. "Anyone can get lucky once." Rebecca stepped forward, her admiration evident. "That was an exceptional shot, Miss Miller." Emma remained composed, her expression unchanged. "Emma Miller," she said quietly. Blake, undeterred, called for higher stakes. $50,000 if you can hit 3 bullseyes in a row at 75 yards, he announced. "If you miss even one, you publicly admit to cheating and leave." The crowd murmured, but Emma was resolute. "I'll take your challenge. On one condition: if I win, the $50,000 goes to the Veterans Support Foundation." Blake hesitated, but then agreed. "Fine. It's not like you'll win anyway." The competition began, and Emma's skill was undeniable. She had come prepared. Blake, with his years of competition experience, excelled with his custom firearms. But Emma's consistency, especially with military-grade weapons, began to close the gap. By the final station, a custom Macmillan TAC 338 rifle that Blake specialized in, Emma faced her most significant challenge. Blake's lead was small, but he made sure to remind her of his expertise. "Not everyone is built for championship pressure," he remarked as he took his shots, hitting 9 out of 10 in the innermost rings. Emma adjusted, recalling Nathan's training: adapt and overcome. As the final shot was fired, Emma's precision won out. The crowd roared as she landed a perfect bullseye, surpassing Blake's performance. Blake, frozen in disbelief, refused to accept defeat. "She cheated," he muttered, accusing her of rigging the equipment. But Rebecca intervened, presenting security footage that showed Blake's own advisor tampering with the firearms, though not in Emma's favor. The news spread quickly, and by morning, Emma's perfect shot and Blake's meltdown were viral. Blake, facing both public humiliation and legal consequences, was forced to issue a public apology. But Emma had already won something greater than money: respect. The Veterans Support Foundation, benefiting from the $50,000 Blake is now forced to pay, offered Emma a role in their marksmanship program for veterans. Emma accepted, and soon she was leading veterans in shooting practice, teaching them the peace she had once found in the sport. At the foundation's fundraiser, Emma spoke of her journey, from the overlooked widow to a leader in her community. She raised a glass to Nathan's memory, knowing that his lessons had helped her find her place in the world again. As the first recipient of the Nathan Ghost Miller Excellence in Marksmanship Scholarship accepted their award, Emma's quiet strength was apparent. She had turned the moment of disrespect into a movement of respect, proving that the quiet ones, those dismissed and underestimated, are often the ones with the most to teach.